Welcome. This is the Anyone Can Farm Live Chat. I'm Mark, your host. Today's Monday. It is the 18th of April, 2022. 3 days past my birthday. Everybody's keeping track. Now let's get the live chat in here. Let's get the chat started. Okay, there we go. Okay. We had some technical difficulties getting rolling this morning or today. It's looks like it's working out pretty good. Okay, we got a couple people in already. All right, good. Claire Homestead, I read your post today. I really liked it. Really liked it. I think you should post. I think you should repost that over on the tribe because there was some words of wisdom there. I think it was Beth because her picture was there, but she related about not only doing the thing, but redoing the thing. And I can get a little trying, but you have to realize, and she points this out, that part of homesteading is, the realization that things aren't always going to go the way you would hope they go. Right. It doesn't always turn out like the package, like when you buy seeds. Oh, look, it's going to grow beautiful tomatoes just like this. And then when you get them, they got wormholes in them. Like the package doesn't say worms, but that happens. So I guess Beth planted a bunch of onions, and we had wicked wind last week, and she lost them all. So she had to go out there and redo them. In there. And then when you do livestock, she points out that you will have dead stock. You will. We've had, I think, in 250 chicks that we got going right now, we've had 5. The other day we had the seed swap, and I want to talk about the seed swap a little bit. By the way, our topic for tonight is going to be, it's basically the Hegalian Dialectic. You can find that, although there was a lot of information that discounts it. I mean, there's more information that says, oh, it's just a conspiracy theory, or it's a tool that the conspiracy theory extreme right uses, right? And so I thought, well, they never used to say that about it, but they do now. When you do a search, a useful tool, they kind of say, oh, conspiracy and stuff. So don't worry about that. That is something that you need to see past these days. When a subject is ridiculed in the mainstream media, it's worth taking another look at. Yeah, it really is. If you get called a conspiracy theorist, probably in the neighborhood of the truth, right? Because we're in a strange time. But I want to talk about this because it'll help people cope with the strange times. Because we need to, we need to be helping each other through this weird time. So yeah, we had the seed swap this weekend. It was brutally cold. It was like 36 degrees. Not that that's so cold, but it was windy, and it was spitting rain, and then it turned to snow. And we had a blazing fire going out, and people wanted to walk around and see farm, and I was more than willing to show people around, but it was difficult for folks, and I think a lot of folks didn't come out. I believe we had somewhere around 30 people here. Some people came and left before we had lunch, right? So we started off at 10. We get our usual people that'll show up a half hour early, which was pretty cool. So it was kind of a festive environment, although it was completely overcast and it was cold and spitting, and it's like you did not want to be outside. But we started up outside, did a little walking around, talking about different things. A few people brought stuff to swap. That really didn't congeal because everybody was like at the fire, kind of talking a little bit, clutching a cup of coffee. It just wasn't a great day for that, but I was impressed that many people came out. And then on or about 1 o'clock or maybe 12:30, we just said, hey, let's go. We opened up all the doors in the house. Everybody came in, set up kind of an assembly line for eating. And it's really surprising. Our house is quite small, but the room right west of me right now, this is like a big, long room, but I do have a wall right in front of me. And it was a garage, right? It was a garage that somebody added on. It looked like in the 50s, and it had no windows in it. And you used to actually drive into it. I actually cat over in here one time when we were bringing wood in, and at a certain point we just said, okay, let's make it part of the house. And for a few years it was sort of part of the house, but it wasn't insulated and it wasn't heated. So in the wintertime, it wasn't a very good part of the house. It was a place for boots and jackets and things like that. And then we put a big wood stove in, originally in this room, and it was kind of a wood furnace. And I ducted in the warm air from it, but it just wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough. So we wound up converting that from a wood furnace to a wood stove. Like I took all the blowers and stuff off and just put it here, built a new chimney for it, and just it pounded out so much heat that it didn't make any difference if that room was not insulated. It heated it, right? So yeah, those were tough days because the floor in there was concrete and all that stuff. But it's nice now. It's insulated. It's got nice windows in it. It's got a sliding door and stuff. It's a nice room. It's got a wood floor in it that we put in that's insulated, and so it's nice now. But back then, so good. But anyway, we did fit all those people in there and just had a heck of a good time. I cannot tell you what it does for me. The last few weeks that we've had here have been difficult. It really is. I mean, this is April. Right now, it is snowing out there. It is snowing. And not that I got anything against snow. It's just that it's April 18th. Usually around my birthday is when, we're listening to the robins sing in the trees. And that's not happening right now. It's been cold. And real cold. I don't even have the water turned on outside. I usually do because it's getting cold at night, like down to, let's see, it'll be tonight, just to beef up my my argument here. It's 32 out right now, and it's going to go. Thursday, 61, and we'll get our sunscreen out and get our sunglasses going. But then Friday, 40% chance of snow. Saturday, 60%, 50% on Sunday, and it's going to be in the 50s and 60s. And then next week it's 40s. So not a great spring so far, but it's coming. It always does. All right, so weave in this topic. I'm going to weave in the seed saving of this topic, and then I want to get together was more than about seeds. Okay. Okay. So we're going to talk about the Hegalian dialectic, and what this really comes down to is problem, reaction, solution, and it is put other ways too. It's put thesis, antithesis, solution, all kinds of other ways. But let's just bring it down to language that we use every day. I really recommend that you go and look at it. I mean, you can look it up and you can find pro, con. You can see how the Nazis used it. You can see how Swiss used it. And when you read it and you read how they debunk it, if you can read between lines, why would you guys debunk it? What do you care? I mean, are you out there debunking Sasquatch or anything else? Whenever they go after something, it seems like it's sort of like a sore spot. They have to stay away from it. You know, they want you to stay away from that. By the way, 461. It's supposed to say 491. Actually, more than that, because we had, I think we took in about $80 this weekend in people just making outright donations and buying swag, you know. So our stickers that say the Anyone Can Farm tribe on it is swag. I never knew that. And all that stuff goes towards the we're calling it the schoolhouse now. It's just we're building out the barn basement where they used to milk cows, and we're going to make classroom, dining rooms, and nice kitchen down there. So it'll accommodate far more people. When we do an event like that, we won't have to come to the house. You know, not that we don't mind opening up the house. It's just there's not enough space in the house. Although I got to say, it was a great time. I had a fun time. It was one of those things. Our guests left. Oh, 3 o'clock maybe was the last ones left, and we didn't kick them out by any means. It was just that they were kind of feeling, I think, like they had to go do something. And my children were there because it was my birthday. So then the festivities just continued. I had an excellent day. We wound up talking about a lot of old times, all the stuff, the weird stuff that the kids did, all the weird stuff that I did, you know, them reminiscing about how weird their parents were and how weird life at the farm was and all that stuff. But we had a really nice time. So let's see. Who do we got here? And then I'm going to get into this subject. We got the Declared Homestead, Justin Z, Inga Brummins, Keith S. Keith was here this weekend, brought me some really nice sign holders. Really appreciate them, man. Did you put them up in the shop? I found them, and I'm going to mod them so that I can put my parking signs on them. It is the most amazing thing. If you guys, okay, well, let me finish. Aaron Buskell's with us. Nancy's with us. Nice pictures of the farm there, Nance. That was really impressive. I hope you put more of that up. Crunchy Mama's with us, probably enjoying a little 80-degree weather down there in Texas. And Sergeant Zumwald's with us. Right on. Good to have you, Andy. Okay, so, I don't know. I got a million things to talk about. Yeah, if you're ever going to do events at your place, you have to realize that you have it in mind how to approach the property and where to put your car. But when people come, they have no idea. And they just see an open spot. Oh, I guess I'll stop here. And you can have problems arise really quickly. So I have made parking signs and I put them out. And I'll put them places where I don't want people to pull their car up, like on the lawn. You know, if there's an open spot, right? Okay. Nancy said, I posted my place so you can see it's not just rocks. I didn't think it was just rocks, did I? No, it looks nice. Too bad we can't have a tribe meetup out there. That would be nice. yeah, so things went really well. I don't know as there was a lot of seeds exchanged. I know there was a lot of seeds here when people left, and I will definitely get them in the ground or get them in pots. And then maybe when we do Tribe Day, there'll be a lot of stuff that people can also swap out. I mean, that needs to be a mainstay. Now, why are we doing this? Why do I think that this is so important for us to meet up? Okay. Okay. Let's get into the topic. Problem, reaction, solution. This happens over and over and over. And if you understand this, when you see it, it'll just flag in your mind, oh, another operation, right? And they have been hitting the public constantly with these ops, constantly. And it's not like it just started since we started meeting up a few years ago, however long that is now. It really isn't. It was kind of good that we had been meeting for a while, and there was a level of trust, I think, between us, that when the Wu flu came, for a couple, I believe I was kind of like, because it smelled bad to me. It smelled really bad. But I'd been down this road before, for real. But I waited. But by the end of the first week, I was putting up the BS flag because they were presenting it to us as a huge problem. We saw Chinese people falling over in the street, right? We saw people within this tribe, people I knew well, that reacted to others who called it the China flu. They reacted, right? So calling it the China flu became a problem. And the reaction was racist. And the solution to that would have been, the solution they were trying to get was for me to say, okay, now it's kind of my channel here, so I don't want anybody saying China. I don't want you saying Chinese checkers. I don't want you saying Chinese handcuffs. I don't want a Chinese restaurant. Nothing. Don't say China. You say China, it's racist. But what did I do? Right? Because I know how this game is. I said China, 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 China. That was my solution. I know they were trying to pull me down in the direction of let's protect China. Let's protect this. Not that it matters, but it's like they're constantly doing these little operations on us. So it sort of forms your mind. And what we have to, in order to survive against this parasite class, is you have to be able to identify it and shake it off. You know, just let it roll off your back like a duck. And actually, the best thing to do to break the spell, right, because it is sort of a spell, is to mock it, right? So you don't say, well, we're going to say China, but we're only going to say it in parentheses, and we're going to be very limited how we say it, and we're going to be careful and make sure that it's the proper content. No. China, 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 China flu, Wu flu. I'll make fun of it however I want, because I didn't see it as real. It didn't convince me that it was real, right? Okay, the problem was the China flu, right? The reaction that they wanted out of us. Like, I believe even if you go with their narrative, somebody created it. Some human did it. It might have been a mistake. They were just making soup, and all they had to eat was a bat. And put it in a soup. And then they shared it with people, and they got the China syndrome. They fell over and hit the deck, right? And they had photographs of people falling over, hitting the deck. They showed that on the news 24/7. They had a little death count. They had Rachel Maddow going on there and saying, "Oh, this is terrible. It's the worst thing hit humanity." And they had multiple solutions to the reaction that they created. They actually presented this to you so that you would react in fear, right? Now, I may say to you, well, I didn't react in fear. React. And how did I react? I reacted to kind of mock it and go against it. And so by doing that, what did I accomplish? I irritated folks. So it wasn't good. It wasn't good because even though we didn't succumb to the fear, we still reacted kind of negatively about it. You know, and I don't quite know how to work around that. You know, I think at the end of this, I'm going to say, so the moral of the story is when they put these out, let's just grow beets. Let's just talk about different strains of potatoes. Because when we start giving this stuff our time and energy, which we did, even if it's to make fun of it, even if it's to say, don't worry about it. Look at how stupid these people are with their dumb masks on. We're giving it our time. And I'm not sure that's a good thing to do. I'm pretty sure it's not a good thing to do. So action solution. So, but it is a tactic that is used continually against the public, and I think we have to be able to identify it so we know when to just say, I don't care, right? Like this last one that hit, it was Ukraine. I can't get into it. You know, it's just so dumb. I just can't get myself even to, like today I thought, well, let's see if I can find something, because I was at a gathering yesterday and it was interesting, but there was a man there that said, well, yeah, the Ukrainians sunk that ship, didn't they? They got that ship. Yeah, big ship too. They sunk that puppy. And I you know, because yeah, modern warships, like, oh, he sunk it, blew it into 5 pieces, right? So I went and looked at it, and there's pictures of it smoking and stuff, and then an explosion on the horizon and stuff. But what I was looking for was, you know, an account. Like, it's a scientific affair to build a ship that won't sink. So if somebody sunk it, I want to know how they did that. You know, you can't just, it's not like the old days when you can just one good hit on the magazine and, you know, it breaks in 2 pieces and it slides down. Modern ships, if it breaks in 2 pieces, you got floating. They're not like the old ships that would break in 2 pieces, would fill with water, and down they go. It's just, they're different now than that. So, and I couldn't find anything, and I was so disinterested with it that I just, I'll just look at Facebook instead. I didn't even really care. So, the points that I have written down here of the things to identify in the Hegalian dialectic or the problem reaction solutions, a lot of times they're fake. And we look at the fakeness of it, and then we make assumptions. And I think they win no matter what. I mean, you'll always have people that will believe the mainstream media, use it's the intellectual class, that they believe it, right? And then we're out here saying, oh, that's fake. It's probably this. And it's not even that. But our assertion in response to this fake thing sometimes can be really dumb too. It really can. Example. They said the problem is the Wu flu. Reaction, everybody gets scared, except us. We say that's dumb. And their solution is, well, we got this shot here. We're going to give you this shot. And so the shot, people believe, is for the, I guess, the intellectual class, I guess we'll call them. They say, okay, let's get it. Let's go get that puppy. And now us out here, the thinkers, are saying, the shot's probably going to kill you. Don't do it. I certainly am not going to do it. And then it went from there to, oh, it's got this in it. It's definitely going to kill you. There was people coming out saying, everybody that took that shot, they're going to be dead by fall. Or their DNA is going to be changed forever. And we didn't know that. We don't know that, you know, and here it is. Fall has come and gone. I didn't hear sirens going up and down the road with dead people on it. I didn't have a guy coming past saying, you got any dead? We'll take your dead. Bring out your dead. We didn't. I don't see that. I didn't. So were we correct? You know, were we on the side of correctness? I don't think we were. Were they? Obviously not, because they kept getting it, you know, and now they're into their 4th or 5th or 6th booster, and they're still saying, well, how come this thing ain't working? But those of us who didn't really care about it very much, never worried about it, never put a mask on, never limited my contact to anyone. And, you know, there was a point actually where I got sick with something and I thought, well, maybe this is it. I even fell into it. You know, I got something. I don't know. You get sick in the wintertime sometimes. And I think my head worked on my body. I think my head said, oh, you got it, buddy. What if you die? What are everybody in the tribe going to think if you die from the Wu flu? All right. So, my first point is a lot of times these problems that they create are fake, obviously, but they sound good to the non-expert. All right. So a lot of things that we see, especially like war actions, people that have been involved in that will be able to look at it and say, that's not what that is right there. That's not what that is. But who haven't been involved with it will say, oh, yeah, sure, yeah. So we have to assume, I do anyway, I assume that everything's fake. And I'm going to look at it until I say, nope, that's the real deal. You know, when you see a line of bodies covered up and then all of a sudden one of them forgets they're on camera and they sit up, you know, it's like, well, not true. You can't assume that any of those people are dead. Okay. So what's the reaction that they're looking for? There's several, but fear is a massive emotion. It's massive. You can get people to do a lot of things with fear. I must admit, sometimes I will listen to people, you know, give commentary on things, and I'll get a little bit like, whoa. And it motivates me. It really does. I don't like to do that. Our thing is to motivate and to empower and all that. My blotter isn't here. I write that down. And educate, motivate, empower, and educate. But I don't like to motivate people with fear. I don't like to. But sometimes I guess we probably do. You know, like with maybe it's respect would be a better word. All right, winter's coming. You better have your equipment ready to go. Maybe you need to learn a healthy respect for the wintertime. Respect, don't fear it, but respect it. You know, understand it. You know, in some ways, the seasons are me, because the seasons bring things to me that are detrimental to what I'm trying to do. The summer brings summer rains, it brings the summer heat, it brings the sun in too much in too much of it, it's bad, right? But I don't fear it. I just respect it. You know, the cold in the winter, you better respect it, because if you don't, it'll bite you. But there are other things. Excitement. When you excite, sometimes you can be manipulated into making a bad decision. Get all excited about something. And that excitement, if you want to know how that's used, just watch a little TV. I mean, many people don't have TV in their houses. I haven't had it for years and years and years, but we've never had it here. We didn't have a farm, so we've not had it since I was at Loring. That's how long. That's 30 years ago. But every now and then we'll stay at a hotel and flip it on. Let's see what's on here. You know, let's watch something good. And you see the commercials. And you know, here, take this drug, and you will have this. You know, and a lot of it is sexual, right? A lot of it is, because they'll show you know, women with good-looking men and men with good-looking women, and just the assumption is, boy, if I take that drug, I'm gonna be getting some of that, right? Or you'll just be happy. Happiness will come over you when you take this drug. Of course, it may result in death, but and they do it over and over and over again, and we fall into it. We get so used to it that we just like, oh, okay, I guess that's what it is. I think of a lot of the reasons nobody here takes anything. It's not because we're really anti-taking things. It's just we just don't. I told you guys several years ago I had to do a thing for my veterans service officer asked me to go and I was like, okay, because you're asking me to do it, I'll do it. They set it up. They paid for it. They paid me to go and do it. And I was like, okay, maybe I should do this. And I did. And the nurse practitioner was a sour thing. She was sour. She said, okay, she's got my file there. And she said, there appears to be a gap file. Do you happen to know where this has gone? And I was like, I don't know. Like, it's electronic. I don't have access to it as far as I know. Or if I do, I've never looked at it. And so she was kind of accusatory. And then she said, okay, what medications are you on? She's ready to copy. Like she's going to fill in my... Okay. I got a dog. I can't concentrate with stupid dogs back there. Okay. And I'm not on anything. And she was like, yeah, right. I mean, actually accusing me of lying, like it's going to get me someplace. And I said, no, I didn't. And I said that probably the reason there's a gap there is I haven't been to the doctor other than I broke my leg and I had to go to the hospital. That's it. I haven't been to the doctor. And she didn't believe me. So anyway, it's probably because we don't have that constant advertising at us that it's sort of the responsible thing to do to frequent a doctor's and just let them tell you, looks like you're, you know, this is acting up. We probably ought to get that looked at, you know, and I'll send you to this specialist and this one and this one. And, you know, before you know it, then you're really going to need to take this. And then all of a sudden you can't sleep. Oh, take this. Oh, not interested in your wife anymore? Here, well, then take this. And that's no joke. I've had GIs tell me that they just get used to that, going to the VA, and the blood work came back, says you're lacking this. Yes, and then they take that, and then they can't sleep, and they take that. not interested in certain things, and they go, well, you definitely got to take this, but that comes with age, you know. Um, maybe if you TV, that's not an issue. Okay, so yeah, excitement, fear, sexual energy. You know, let's be honest here. That's something that is used against us a lot. You know, the lack of or the hope for. Repetition. What was it? It was Himmler that said, "You tell people a lie often enough, and they will do it." Right? Because when there's repetition, you just have a tendency to believe it. Right? Um, and then triggers. Right? Remember how you didn't want to say certain things because certain people would become triggered. Right? Well, they lay out the triggers for you. They program into people, and then they hit the button to see if you can trigger them, right? But that doesn't if you don't buy into all this. A lot of this is make believe, and you just have to be able to identify it and say, nah, I don't give a shit. I don't care about that. I don't care about that. So in some ways, I heard this from Jack Spirko. He said, a good solid dose of apathy sometimes is a good thing. Like, I don't care. And like right now, I witnessed at a gathering I was at where the topic came out Ukraine. And like, if you didn't exclaim how proud you were of the Ukrainian people and how much you hate Russians, you were kind of like odd. You were kind of weird. And I mean, it must be true because we prayed for the Ukrainian people at church, he says. We prayed for them. Yeah, the pastor prayed for him. And the pastor asked for death and destruction on Russia. Now, I threw that in. He probably did. All right, Joni's with us. All right. So, but as far as the Ukraine thing, it's like I haven't even been able to get interested enough to get into it. And I am kind of a war buff. I don't think that's probably a good thing, but and lately my attitude has been changing towards it. It really was. I wasn't sure about a lot of the things that I experienced as a young man. Like I had physical reactions and things, and I wasn't sure why. And now I'm kind of putting it together. And I don't know. Anyway, my last point, and I can get to that a little later, but my last point was these things seem to come into our view, and that's all we see. We're peppered with it. And then they just fade out of existence like that never happened. That never happened. I was listening to Owen Benjamin today. Some of the people that were here on Saturday listened to Owen Benjamin too. And I think they told me they did last time we met, but I don't know. I still missed it. It was actually Jack Russum, YouTube Sucks, that sent me an Owen Benjamin thing. And I can take Owen in doses. He's getting kind of mad and just going on these rants, but a lot of what he says, I think, is correct. It is so off what we are being told. But when you hear it, you say, boy, sounds like the real thing. But what did he say? Today he was talking about the Dutch people. All right, you remember them. And he was talking about how, President Trump goes out there and does the, YMCA. And, why did you pick that song? Those guys were all flaming homosexuals. That's definitely not good for the state of affairs. A lot of the players have that problem. and it's a real problem. It's like a mental illness. You know, I can't stress that enough. When you're given the gift of the opposite sex, but you reject it, a lot of good things. But it's the same thing with somebody that's a kleptomaniac. You know, they know they shouldn't steal, but they just can't help it. You know, it's a problem. It's an illness that needs to be overcome. It's like a guy that, you know, really, I'm an athlete. I really love to lift weights and stuff, but I really like wearing women's clothes. You know, it just really makes me feel good. That's a problem. And we're supposed to, you know, in today's society, we're supposed to say, how courageous. How courageous. And if you say, that's not good, that's weird, then you're the problem. Well, that's incorrect. And we need to be able to say that and say it with confidence. Worry that, you know, somebody's going to say, oh, well, you're a homophobe. So, I'm not. Phobic means I'm afraid. I'm not afraid. But anyway, okay, these things, they fade right out of sight. And in this thing that Owen was talking about today, he was saying, hey, is anybody anymore? What happened to AIDS? Like, that was a thing. That was a thing. I mean, it was really a thing. When you're in the military and you wind up going to a different country, right? I still have, they talked about the world's oldest profession. And one of your NCOs or captain or somebody like a section supervisor is required to sit you down. You're a group of, you know, prostitution is a way of life, and those of you non-married may choose to participate in that. But I have to give you a warning. You know, you could get AIDS, or you could get VD, or you could get this, you could get that, you could get parts of your body amputated, actually, and that's no joke, actually. Anyway, terrible things can happen to you if you choose to participate in the world's oldest profession. They call it prostitution. But you know, so didn't concern me in any way. But I noticed a lot of the young men were afraid. Right? They were afraid. Jeez, I don't mind getting VD, but I don't want to get AIDS. You know, because AIDS, it'll kill you, right? At least that's what we were told. Now, what happened to AIDS? You know what? It's not a thing anymore. It's just they seem to completely fade out. You know, completely go away. You just don't hear about them. So that seems to me to be one of the telltale signs of this operation. Okay. Then we see layering. Right? So the one that we've just been through, which I think is really neat, is El Presidente comes out and he says, there's going to be food shortages. So problem, there's going to be food shortages. Reaction of the public is, you know, some people will react and they'll go out and they'll buy up all the toilet paper they can find, that type of thing. Maybe not toilet paper, but, you know, that happened. Hey, there's going to be toilet shortages, so people go out and buy pallets of toilet paper. That's the reaction. And the president's solution, the solution to the problem, I don't know as we've actually got that yet. I don't got that. But I believe what it will be is, yeah, there's not going to be any food out in the perimeter. The food is going to be in the population centers. So get your butts back to the city. That's where that's where the food is. That we can't truck it out here. There's not enough food to go around. So we're going to feed the people in the city because those are the good people. And if you are responsible, you will move to the city and quit using up an unfair amount of resources. You know, Green New Deal. You are living out in the country. You're contributing to global warming. so you need to move to the city. I have a feeling that's what it's going to be. Or, have layer stuff like, well, you want food at Myers. They sell some pretty good food there. Are you wearing your mask? Put your mask on. Check out. Are you willing to show your vaccine identification card? Now, I know what you're saying. Hey, well, none of this stuff is really happening. Well, I've told you for a long time, these guys have a plan. They have a plan, but they lack quite a few things. And this is good. This is a good thing. This is where we come in, right? What are they lacking? James Zumwalt, they're lacking leadership. I mean, I see it everywhere. They just don't have leadership. They have people that want to lead from behind. They're more interested in getting their stuff than doing what their bosses want them to do. Like, they have an agenda, they have a plan. They have a plan, but it's some effort. It's going to take some expertise. I mean, you're a small group of people and you've got to manipulate a large group of people to do something. You have to work at it. You're going to have to stay sober in order to do that. And these guys are not doing that. They're incompetent most of the time. That's what I always say about the parasite class is, where did they get disciplined? Where did they get their discipline to do this? I think a lot of this operation is compartmentalized. I don't think like the food inspector, I think he knows or cares. He's just thinking, I need a job because they're going to make my apartment back up. Yeah, I'll take that job. I'll qualified. And I don't think they really know. They do listen to the thing that I say. They'll just discount it as conspiracy theory. They don't really want to know. But we were discussing this today. I go on a show. I'll give you guys a heads up when it's coming out. I remember way back in the day, I used to tell you all, hey, you don't want to listen to this guy. He's really good. He's a GI, like me. He's an infantry officer, intelligence type. And I just like I like the cut of his jib. I really do. So but I stopped listening to him for a while because I stopped listening to everybody for a while. I got tired of hearing, here's the problems that we face. I'm not put together like that. Okay. Heavy now. Okay, I see it's flickering now. Are we on? Audio is breaking up. How long ago? 1752. 1752 right now. Are we doing okay? Can I get a thumbs up here? You're on? Okay. So, I'm trying to tie this together for you because we no longer have to be spectators here. Right? President comes out, says there's going to be food shortages. You would think that the next thing out of his mouth would be an of the Department of Agriculture to brief me on tensions to this problem. We'll be back to you before the end of the week, my fellow Americans. No. Basically, he's telling, we got a problem, get used to it. So it's like you go see your doctor and say, hey, doc, I got diarrhea. I've had it for 2 weeks. And he says, well, you better get used to it. So what kind, did I come here for that, or did I come here looking for a solution? So, do we want solutions from Do we really want solutions from him? If he says, hey y'all, we got coming, this is what I think we ought to be doing, or this is what my director of Department of Agriculture is saying we ought to be doing, I kind of don't want him to ask me or to inform me what we need to do. I really don't, because I don't trust them, and we shouldn't trust them. They have, we talked yesterday at the gathering, is that about betrayal, right? Betraying people's trust. They have betrayed us. I've been betrayed. It's tough when you get betrayed by people that you thought were, part of your support group, people that you gravitate to because you're trying to figure out your own damn life, and then they betray you. Do you ever come back to that? I suppose if the individual comes to you and says, I really did, and I'm sorry. But until that happens, it's just like, you'll do it again. You're not even man enough to own up to it to me, right? So, but we have been betrayed by our own government, which is fine, because now we all see how badly they have failed. We put these people in place to do, and they have failed. Okay, I'm getting to it. Seed Savers this week, and what was it? It was the solution to the problem that was created. So we understand the Hegalian dialectic: problem, reaction, solution. They create the problem. It's up to us how we're going to react, and it's up to us what the solution is going to be. And almost every time the solution that they want you to take or to go with, almost every time it's 180 degrees from where you want to be. Every time. Not every time. And I got to admit, the thing with the flu, it didn't work out. A lot of the alternative community said it was. They said, don't touch that. Don't even go near it because it's bad. They're poisoning you. Well, I don't know about that, I mean, I don't even take any stuff, so I'm not likely to take that. But I was told that people were going to have big problems because of it. I don't see it. So I'm not 100% sure that, there was two stories that were floated. One, if you don't take it, you're going to die. One, if you do take it, you're going to die. And neither one of them were true. But we caused a lot of breakups, a lot of separations. I know in my life there was tons of it. Some of my siblings won't associate with us because we said no, I'm not going to do it. We just wouldn't buy into the whole thing, the whole fear deal. So they don't want to associate with us. Whatever. Layering. You will see this. So a lot of times when you're analyzing this, you'll say, well, gee, which one is it, right? So the president comes out and says, going to be food shortages. Now, how are they going to make that come to fruition? Well, let's come up with another problem. Oh, bird flu. We're going to have to destroy a whole bunch of flocks. And in some states, they've said, we're not going to allow people to raise chickens, like Georgia. No chickens. It's one of the biggest chicken producers there are. So to make the food shortages statement seem plausible, we've got to create a shortage. They've got to create a shortage. So how are you going to do that? Why is the shortages? Uncle Joe said there's going to be shortages because of Russia. We had to sanction Russia. Why did we have to sanction Russia? Because they invaded Ukraine, and they'll invade us next. So we got to sanction them. But what did that cause? Food shortage in the United States, of course. Don't you know? What are you, stupid? Does that sound like remotely close to reality? Not to me. So how are we going to create this food shortage? Bird flu, and then repetitive. I think I remember bird flu back in 2005, I believe. Does anybody else remember bird flu at another time? Didn't quite work then either. You know, they said the way I raise chickens on chicken tractors, oh no, you can't do that. Chickens have to be absolutely secured because a sparrow could come in and mate with your chickens and get, you know, the H1N1 chicken flu, and all over the world could collapse. And it's your fault, you irresponsible jerk. And a massage and a Trump supporter. Probably saying, I don't like Chinese people either, you know. So that's how they work. And like it's come now, we've already seen it in Michigan, you know, on M Live and all the other little rags that they have. And they're saying, well, yeah, we've got it. On Michigan, it's a lot of people in this genre of people are going to say, I'm just going to do the right thing. That guy, he's still going to continue, and you're the reason why the bird flu is happening. It's you, right? And you may even get some like PETA people, you know, some activists that'll come in here and release all my chickens. It's really funny too because they appeal to the lowest level person. All right, the bird flu is sort of like the Wu flu, right? Your chances of dying from the are like, you know, like you ain't gonna die from the Wu flu. You know, your chances of dying from the shot are much better. But the bird flu, this is a good one, doesn't affect human beings at all. You eat them, you can drink their blood, you can do whatever you want with a chicken, and it's not going to affect you. But chicken gets it, they can get sick and die. So the fix on that, the solution, according to these people, is, well, let's kill them. Because if we kill it, it won't spread. Well, why not wait until they're butcher weight and then kill them, and then people can eat it, and we won't have food shortage. And you know what they'll say then is, you need to trust the science. You need to go with the scientists. All right. So they layer their problems. They layer them, right? And sometimes it gets in because you've got to pull them all apart. Like when you see the Ukraine thing happen, you see, like if it's not just Russians being jerks and picking on these wonderful Ukrainian folks, then what is it, Mark? I could offer you some stuff, but I don't know, and you know I'm not that interested in it right now, so I don't know. But the bird flu, I would have to say the reason why they had to pull that one off the shelf again was because, hey, the president's, we're going to have food shortage. We got to have something. We got to have something. There's got to be something that you know, looks like food shortage. So I think that's what's going on right there. But do we really want to give this that much credibility by even thinking about it? This is where I'm down on this lately, and I've been thinking a lot about this, and the more I do what I'm going to say, the less anxiety I have, and the more the field opens up for us to take control. Okay, so whenever they come up with a solution, hey, it is always voluntary. Even if you think voluntary, it is voluntary. You got to have a mask on to be in this store. You walk right past them, nothing happens. What can they do? They can hold you down and put a mask. If they did, you'd own the store. It was always, there'd always be a, like, you need to do this or you can't come in. What if I don't? You know, so you have to press the test button to see. But most of the time, it was voluntary, intimidated into doing it. But if you just don't do it, you didn't really have recourse. You know, the Walmart greeter guy, there's not a lot he can do if you just walk past him. Yeah, I've heard so many really fun stories about that. So it is voluntary. You know, everything that we see is voluntary. This whole thing with the bird flu, worries came out in M Live. It was, you know, if you suspect that your flock of backyard chickens may have H1N1 or whatever, bird flu, let's just call it bird flu. Oh, that's kind of racist, isn't it, against birds? Then do the right thing, be responsible, and call this number. And we'll send a team right over and we'll test them. And, you know, and so people, feel like they're doing the right thing, but you're actually doing the wrong thing. You got to be through these ploys that they use, you know, you have to. Okay. So the president comes out and says it's going to be, I'm going to go back to this problem. There's going to be food shortages because, and I'm going to go on this one because it's right in our wheelhouse. This is what we do. This is what we talk about, right? We're talking about a self-sufficient lifestyle, resiliency, regenerative, and it's based on food production. So the guy says, hey, I mean, this is the most powerful man in the world. There's going to be food shortages. And then offers no solution yet. So my good friends at the Department of Agriculture here in Michigan, they're not offering any solutions either. What's the problem? Don't you guys, I thought you guys were like the gurus of agriculture. After all, you went to the university, you learned everything you know about agriculture. What's the solution? Come on. I think what we, you know, I don't want to waste my equity with you all, but I'm really tempted to ask you all. I'm not going to, but just think if I did. Because the reason I don't, it's because we don't need to waste time. We need to work the solution, right? But let's say I wanted to, I could say, but I get everybody on here. Now, there's quite a few of you here, and then there's going to be quite a few of you tomorrow that listen to this. Can I get you all to take 5 minutes, dial this phone number, and when you get someone on the phone at the Michigan Department of Agriculture, say, hey, what are you doing about this food shortage? You know, and then share your responses back here. I think it would be really kind of fun, and it would prove that these people are really not who they say they are. The Department of Agriculture. You could call them anything, and you know, it's more like the Department of Control as using food as a weapon. That's really what they should be called. Right? Because they're not doing anything to alleviate the problem of, as the president said, food shortage. You know, back in World War II, you know, I'm not sure if the same thing was going on right then, but I do know the story from my grandfather, and take him at face value, but a lot of the men were gone. So a lot of the women had to step up and move into the defense plants and go to work there. A lot of had to be consolidated, and Uncle Sam was putting out the word that, hey, do the right thing, grow a garden. We'll call it a victory garden, because we had to divert a lot of the food that was being produced overseas to our troops that were working on not only our troops, British troops and Canadian troops and others, that were Allied troops. Had to be. And a lot of food went down in ships. A lot of it never made it to its destination. So, wouldn't it be fitting for the president to say, you know what, y'all need to get those seeds? But what did they say during the Wu flu? They're saying, close down the seed section. And who obliged them? Walmart, Home Depot. They obliged, right? So you kind of know who your friends are. You know who your friends are. I'm not saying the people that work there, they're just workday people getting a paycheck. And even that broke down a little bit, like the managers of a lot of these stores, they would put something up to say, yeah, I put it up, but these people keep walking around the rope. There's nothing I can do. We can't shoot them. If they really wanted to not sell gardening supplies, they could have just taken them off the floor, but they didn't do that. And it's not like they were refusing to check people out. So that's more of what I'm saying. This is voluntary. They're trying to get you to volunteer to do what they want you to do. And what you need to do is just kind of laugh at that. Like, I'm not doing that. You do it. Here you go. Do it. See if you make me. Be governable when the time is right. And see, that is a leadership issue, right? There are things that we comply with. There really are. The laws in this country, for the most part, are good laws. Now, if they do not square with the Constitution, I'm not under any obligation to that. And usually, you can look at it and say, well, that doesn't get anybody anywhere except, some special interest groups. It's not really law. Like hate speech, it's not law. People can level that claim against you all day long. Oh, that's hate speech. Like, oh, so you got hate speech Nazis or whatever. Oh, I got a great story, but let me see if I'm through this already. Not quite. Our meeting this weekend, that was our solution to the problem that they're enunciating. I don't believe it. I don't believe it's real, but it's not going to matter. We're going for their solution. Extension service. We have, conservation service. All these things that should be saying, "Hey, we've got solutions. We can figure out what to do here." They're not, and it's it's a leadership issue. You can't really expect them to. They're good people and they're working there, but they're not autonomous in the positions that they hold. This should have come from the top down, but it's not. And so what their agenda is. Their agenda is not, the apple, the eye of the Constitution, the people. It is not. It is themselves. They are actually trying to create austerity measures against the people of this country. And out of that chaos, they will get what they want. Order out of chaos, right? All right, so good story. A good story, I think, anyway. So I'm just thinking before I tell this, am I going to hurt anybody's feelings? Well, I'll just leave the names out. And so, but anyway, there was an individual that was here this week, and it was not part of the seed saving people. It was a friend of mine, his friend. And we were talking about cows and milk cows, and we were talking about different ways that we've discovered to sell milk and actually make a good profit on a very good profit, actually. And we don't even talk about raw milk is illegal, and we don't even talk about that. That's a bunch of hooey. And that's another operation too. Prohibition. Do you know that raw milk is responsible for a lot of people dying? Reaction is fear. Solution is we just can't sell raw milk. So we've got to make regulations against it, and private companies have got to say no. And the word on the street is it's illegal. And you'll even have government agencies, health departments, and the milk inspection office that will harass people. And they can't really harass you if you know how things work. But they will do that. And why are they doing that? They don't want a whole bunch of farmers milking 10 cows, making a damn good living doing it. They want a couple of people working themselves right into an early grave and getting paid nothing for their milk, right? And that's what's going on right now. And they're trying to consolidate the land, consolidate the farms. Of course, they're doing a really crummy job because they're not getting anywhere with it. You know, you do have some people that have drank the Kool-Aid many moons ago, and now it's catching up with them. And those farms are going out and they're being absorbed into bigger farms. But the guys that are running the really big, they're not having fun with it. They're not getting the buzz out of it that I do out of farming. You know, I really get a good buzz out of it. They're running a business, you know, where they have to hire illegal aliens, and they're always looking over their shoulder. They're borrowing money that they really pay back, and they know it. And they're going to be passing things over in that are detrimental to a quality life. You know, it's just it's a bad deal. But anyway, this individual says to me, I made a statement, boy, a lot of raw milk has gone through that refrigerator right there. And she says, you don't sell raw milk. I said, yes, I do. And she said, you don't sell raw milk. Like kind of condescending, and like my mom telling me, you know, you're not going to call your sister fat or something like that. And I took issue with that. And I said, yeah, I sell raw milk. I sell a lot of raw milk. And she said, I'm an attorney. I said, is that right? How about that? What does that mean? And she says, I am duty bound to upchannel to authorities any illegal action. I said, then I guess you better do that. You know, if you're going to be true to yourself and true to your calling, then here's my cell phone. Call which authority actually, maybe you know because you're a lawyer, which authority are you supposed to call about, you know, the raw milk police? Who are you going to call? And she was, you know, I told her on it. I said, all right, do it. Do it now. You say you're going to turn me in on my property. Say, turn me in for selling raw milk. And what you want me to do is just not say it in front of you. You want me to not say it in front. No, I'm not. That's the same as saying Bruce is a woman. It's not true. I'm not going to play make believe. Yeah, so what? If you Bruce Jenner's a man with a mental illness and he has to put on women's clothes, come and take me away then. You know, come and take me away if you can. But you can't because I have free speech. And actually, my right to sell raw milk protected under the Fifth Amendment. I tried to explain that to her, but she did not want to hear it. As an attorney, she did not want to hear anything about the Fifth Amendment. She didn't know anything about it. I said, you know what the Fifth Amendment is? That's no, she didn't. Not really. And I thought, how perfect is this? But in a lot of ways, it's like we've got the ability to rebuild now. And the institutions that have let us down, like you would think, hey, I'm going to pass the bar exam. I am actively an attorney. I can recite the amendment, but she couldn't. She didn't know what it was. Not really. She thought it was the Equal Protection Clause, which it is. but that doesn't really apply here, you know. That part of it. That's not what we were, selling raw milk is my process. I've claimed it. It is not illegal. Therefore, why should I listen to some other person regulation? Anyway, it was kind of interesting. We got a little bit hostile, and then I joked with the man that dropped off a bull here, and I said, if she's into the milk Nazis, the bull dies, right? It was just kind of fun. But that confrontation needs to happen. Meyer also closed the garment. All right. Okay, Luann says, Henry Kissinger, I believe, said if you control the food, the population. That was good old Hank. I mean, that's his plan. But in order to control the population, first you have to control the food. That's not going to be easy to do in the United States because of the Fifth Amendment. The way they can control the people or control the people's ability to create food is to hide the Fifth Amendment from them. And this is what you are supposed to be doing as tribes, men's and women's, is you're supposed to be spreading this message. Or what good is it if you just come here to get educated? You got to, or just get entertained. You're getting educated, and now your job is to pass it on. Be one guy saying this. You have to be, passing this message on. It's a pure, very clean message. It was the message that I gave at the Rogue Food Conference. Notice I didn't get invited back to the Rogue Food Conference. Why is that? Okay, because in this arena, right, the problem is you're a small farm. You're going to get attacked by government agencies. That's the problem. You get scared. And the solution could be, well, maybe I just won't do it. That's what they want. That's the solution that they want. Just don't do it. Leave it to us. Leave it to the professionals, right? And then there are some people in the small farms community that say, well, the solution is this group of lawyers over here. You turn to them, they'll fix everything for you. Well, that's not my message. I mean, lawyers have their place, but before you go to a lawyer, what you should be doing is going to here. Many of us took an oath to protect that document, and you don't have to be a military person to take an oath to protect and defend this. You can say, as a non-military, non-policeman, fireman, non-government employee, you can say, you know what? I would like somebody to administer this oath. And then you can say, I took an oath. I'm an oath taker. I took an oath that these military people took to protect, defend this document against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I don't see foreign enemies in this little arena. I mean, anybody who, like you have this perfect document that provides the Fifth Amendment is protected under due process law, and then you have government, a pseudo-government entity like the Department of Ag comes in, and they'll give but they'll give a but, and as soon as you hear the but, you'll be like, no, that's your little game. But you're actually, all the Department of Agriculture wieners, they're actually required to comply with my document is the U.S. Constitution. So I have this thing to do the next time I get in front of a big crowd, to emphasize this. And I think this would be a great a great picture, a great, what would you call it? It's like a scenario picture. I'm not thinking of what it is right now. But anyway, um, I will go to the podium with my briefcase, right? That I usually have duct tape in when I do a speech and other stuff. Uh, and I will pull out my duct tape, of course, and set it on the podium. But then I'll pull out an instruction of the rules, the rule book for Monopoly. But before I go up there, I will have secretly put a tape on the floor that has the word "go" written on it. And so I go up there and I'm going to pull this out and I'm going to let everybody in the audience see that, yeah, well, book with me from Monopoly. I hope you guys don't mind. And then I'll sit down and then I'll say, can I get a volunteer? And I'll pick a volunteer. So that volunteer will have to walk down a certain and step over that piece of tape that I have secretly written "go" on. And when they come up to the stage, introduce them, why you in farming and all this stuff, cool. Get a feel for who they are. And then I'll say, give me my $200 and sit down. And I'll be like, what? Yeah, give me my $200 and then go sit your butt down. I'm done with you. I'm not going to give you $200, Mark. Why would I give you $200? You see this set of rules here? In this rule book on page 6, and I'll have it highlighted, I'll say, read that. It says, when you pass go, you have to give whoever, I don't know, I haven't played that game in years, but I'll work that out of it. You have to collect $200, I think it is, or whatever. And they'll say, yeah, but we're not playing Monopoly. And then I'll say, yeah, but I am. You weren't, but I am. That's sort of how the Department of Agriculture works their deal. They have their set of rules, and they try to get you to agree to their rules, to play their game. When you should be saying, well, this doesn't square with the U.S. Constitution, and neither does this. So let's do some amendments here, shall we? And I don't think they're going to go for that. I just don't think they have the capacity to understand that they are actually supposed to be playing our game, not the other round. And I mean, I bag on them all the time, and I always will. My family went through at their hands, and a lot of those wieners don't even work there anymore. But until those organizations are pared down and they're brought back to heel and are doing what they're supposed to be doing, not what they think they want to do, I will always bag on them. I will, in my case, they came out with a problem. Oh, feral swine. They are everywhere, and they scared the public. Feral swine. Oh, they dig up golf courses. They kill baby ducks. They kill baby deer. You can't even let your kid wait for the bus because the feral swine will get him. Da, 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 da. All these things. Reaction, fear for the environment, for the children. Solution, go to every farm that has a pig and kill them. But they weren't going to do it. They wanted you to do it. They wanted you as the owner of that animal to kill that pig. And what I said was, you do it. Let's see you come here and kill my animals. Let's see you do that. And they can't do that. They want you to voluntarily do it. And it's the saddest thing because there's a guy north of me. I don't think anything of him. I don't know what he's up to anymore, but he complied. He got a bunch of his friends together and went out there and shot every pigs, even the little ones. They had big gaping bullet holes in the side of their head and filmed it. And then he went a big cry fest about like he wanted them to compensate him. And they were like, idiot, compensating you for this. So don't, that's how come I know so much about it. They played that with us. And then they layered it, of course, with the other problems and then the reaction solution. So they're trying to manipulate you into doing what they want you to do. And if you case here, your case. If it's valid, then maybe look at it. But if not, go to hell. You know, I'm an American citizen. I'm by the U.S. Constitution, and you'll take it from my dead cold hands. Is what you'll do. Because not, we really can't be relying on to interpret the rules for us. We have to know the rules. I'm Irish. Luann's German by the looks of her name, probably not. But Andy Zumwald, I don't know what that name is. That's probably hillbilly. Kelly, you're Irish. Mosher, Dutch. Ice House, that's, I don't know, I think that's made by Budweiser, isn't it? So it's Pierce, I don't know, but we're all different nationalities, but we live in this country and we are Americans. So what's the common denominator here? Common denominator. The common denominator is this country's so great is our Constitution. Our lawmakers can't violate the Constitution. The lawmaker must square with the Constitution, or we're under no obligation to go with them. And then it becomes the onus is on them to bring us into compliance. But it's very hard to do for them to do. It violates your basic constitutional rights. Now you have to know them, and it's a page, Bill of Rights. It's just a page with 10 statements on it. Not very hard, but many people still haven't looked at it. All right. What time is it? 9:31. Half hour over. Debbie Van Fossen's with us. He says times 67. I think you're Mexican. Look Mexican to me, but I don't know. Do you like tacos? All right. I don't see any questions here, so let's leave it there. That's my message. I feel compelled. I am doing an interview tomorrow with Kesterson. I'm a real big fan of his. I hope things go well. If you think of it, you know, help me out with a few prayers. I wouldn't mind that one bit. Because we're on the same page on a lot of things that can do a lot of good things. We can do a lot of damage to the you know, bring a lot of truth out. See. Oh, so Nancy, thank you. It was a great place to grow up, and now coming back to the farm field. Oh, so that was a family farm. All right. It's kind of weird. My parents don't think it's strange. I decided to farm. They like it at their age. Keeps you out of trouble. Huh. I'm ranting, so I haven't been watching this real well. Not a lot of input. Our media is doing really good. You guys help me out a lot in spreading our media around, and I appreciate that. We continue to, that does me a big favor. You know, we're going to just take things as they come. Rachel did this for us tonight. Looks really good. Spelling is correct. That's Rachel's hand right there. She's good. These are our new buds. I think this is probably Chloe, the female, and this is probably Louis, the male, right? So, okay, we will talk to you tomorrow. We'll have another subject coming up. Not just sure what it is. If anybody has any Any inputs? Maybe I'll tell you about my interview with Scott tomorrow. Really, but if you listen to the Bards FM, it's pretty good. He's really pretty good. For a while, I was just tired of everybody, and he was thrown off YouTube. So see, and now he has, and listen, and he's like, "Here's the solution. Let's us give the solution to these super problems." And it is disconnecting from the system. So they can come up with a solution, but you just say, "No, I don't think so. I don't want to do it. I'm not going to do it." The more you don't, the more ungovernable become, the more autonomous you become. And the more of us, there's so many of us too, that they really not much they do. There's still plenty to see as the plans are. I've seen